Yes, good morning. We'll continue about biotechnology applications in the field of agriculture. So in that, the first application is developing insect resistance. Insect resistance in the crop plants, cropping plants, or in agriculture crops, we have to develop insect resistance. First of all, what is insect resistant and what is the need of developing insect resistant in the crops? Okay, normally our first aim is to develop insect resistance. Before to that, we have to develop more yielding or raise in the yield is our first aim. Increasing the production or yield is the first aim of all agriculture. So in cropping or agriculture, we have to increase the yield. Okay, to increase the yield, we have to follow a method where developing insect resistant varieties. Why? Because there are some insects. Whenever insects attack the plant, they will damage the crop and reduce the yield. Yield or production will be decreased by attacking of the insects. So if insects are attacking or reducing the yield, what is the strategy we should follow? We have to use chemical pesticides, chemical insecticides to prevent or to decrease the damage of the crop. But using that chemical fertilizers or chemical pesticides will cause environmental pollution and biomagnification, like that some problem will arise. So by genetic modification, if we develop these insect resistant varieties which are transgenic insect resistant crops were developed by genetic engineering, by modifying their genome, then they have advantage where yield can be more and there is no environmental pollution and everything. So that insect resistant will help us to increase yield of the crop. Yield can be increased by developing insect resistant crops. How? And what is the phenomenon or what is the main principle in developing insect resistance means? Suppose if we take some microorganisms like Bt bacteria, their own natively they have some genes or DNAs which are responsible to give insect resistance themselves. Suppose take example, Bt is the term which is used to use or describe many crops which are insect resistant varieties like Bt cotton, Bt brinjal, Bt tobacco, like that. Bt tomato, Bt potato, like that. Different varieties are there. Here Bt stands for Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacillus bacteria, which is a bacteria. This bacteria in its genome, it has a DNA gene called Cry genes. These Cry genes are able to give insect resistance. How means? When these Cry genes undergo gene expression, they will produce some proteins. These proteins are crystallizable in nature. These proteins are crystallizable proteins. That crystallizable proteins have insecticidal properties. What are that insecticidal properties of crystallizable proteins means? That protein normally which is inactive, which is also called as protoxin. Okay, whereas this protoxin, inactive crystallizable protein, is present in alkaline medium, they will become into an active toxin. That active toxin acts as a poison and it is responsible to kill the insects. It's this active toxin which is in alkaline medium that causes inflammation and swelling of midgut of insects, and it causes damage of that midgut and stomach insects of the insect, and that insect will be killed. This is the process what involved in the development of insect resistance. See here, what are the genes responsible here? I told you, cry genes. Why are they called cry genes? Because that cry genes are DNAs which on expression they will produce a protein, crystallizable protein. Proteins are crystallizable, so that they are called cry protein. Cry proteins are produced by the genes, so they are called as cry genes. Okay. Now, these cry genes are different types, you know. There are presence of cry 1AB is there, cry 1AC is there, cry 2AB is there. These cry 1AC and cry 2AB are responsible to protect the plant or protect the bacteria or something from bollworms, cotton bollworms, whereas cry 2AB is a protein which is responsible to protect from borers, fruit borers, corn borers, corn borers. Cry 1AB, yes. Cry 1AB. Cry 1AC, cry 2AB, they protect from cotton bollworms, whereas cry 1AB protect from corn borers. Okay, these are some genes. How? First of all, let us see how that insects are reducing the loss, or how they are decreasing the yield in the plants, how insect resistance can be developed in the plants. That we'll see now. Complete? Right. See now, if we take how insects are responsible to decrease the yield, there are some insects categories which are belonging to the classes like Lepidopterans, Coleopterans and Dipterans. These insects like Lepidopterans. Lepidopterans are insects which include worms, budworm. Worms are insects which are belonging to Lepidopterans. Coleopterans are there, beetles. Coleopterans are there which include beetles, and Dipterans are there which include flies, mosquitoes. So these types of insects, they will infect or attack on the plants, and they will eat the plant apart, or they may be spreading the disease or something, and they are responsible to decrease the yield of the plants. Not only cotton plant, in many plants they will decrease the yield. So as these insects are decreasing the yield of the crops, many crops are introduced with resistance against these types of insects. Like, what are the transgenic crops developed? Transgenic crops like cotton, brinjal, then tobacco, potato, even tomato. Rice. Different varieties are produced which have transgenic in nature, and that transgenic crops. These transgenic crops have resistance against these insects. What we are doing here in this developing insect resistance, if we take this insect resistance development, a gene is there from Bacillus thuringiensis DNA. From that we are isolating a gene. Which gene? Cry That cry gene is introduced into a plasmid, Ti plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. When this TA plasmid is introduced with chrysin, there is a formation of an rDNA molecule. This rDNA molecule, by using Agrobacterium tumefaciens gene transfer method, it was introduced into plants. That plants are now transformed or recombinant plants or transgenic plants or genetically modified plants. So a gene which is taken from that Bacillus thuringiensis DNA, which is chrysine. Okay, that chrysine is introduced into TA plasmid, which is a disarmed TA plasmid, you know. That TA plasmid is introduced with this chrysine and made into rDNA. That recombinant DNA is first introduced into Agrobacterium bacteria, then it is introduced into plants. That is agrisection method or Agrobacterium tumefaciens mediated gene transfer. Now this plant has original genome. Plant genome is there, along with that chrysanes are also available. That chrysanes will express protein. That proteins are present in plant body every cell. When insects attack on the plants, that plant has cry protein already. That cry proteins will be eaten or taken by the insects. That proteins which are actually, which toxin? Protoxin is, it is in nature. That protoxin will get activated into active toxin in midgut of the insects. So because there is alkaline condition, due to that alkaline condition, they will become active and causes inflammation and swelling, even ulcers of the intestinal tract of the insect, so that insect will be dead. Okay, so protoxin is there. Here which gene? This chrysine. This chrysine is also called as endotoxin gene. Endotoxin gene of this cry protein is introduced into TA plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens, then it is transferred into plants. Okay, this is the method of developing insect resistance in the crop. So different varieties like cotton, brinjal, tobacco, potato, tomato, different varieties or different crop species are developed with the insect resistance. Among them, first developed one is tobacco, and mostly cropped variety is BT cotton. BT tobacco is the first developed variety of insect resistant crop. BT tobacco was the first developed with insect resistance, but most cropped variety is this one. Okay. Complete? Yes. Next, developing pest resistance. That is insect resistance. This is pest resistance. Pest resistance is also introduced into crop plants to increase the yield only. This also to increase the yield only. Why? Because insects are different, pests are different. Insects are there means they may be eating the plant part and decreasing the yield, which resists the growth and everything. Which here pests are there, they are also taking plant part as a food and they are also decreasing the yield, but these can spread diseases also like that. Okay, here this pest resistance is introduced into plants by using a method called as RNAi, RNA interference or RNA induced gene silencing. We'll see when we go to the process of RNA interference. If we take how pests are decreasing the yield and how we can develop pest resistance in the crop. See here, if we take some nematodes, nematodes are there which are infecting tobacco plants. That nematode example, Meloidigoin incognitia. Incognitia. So anyway, this meloidigan species of nematode that will infect on roots of tobacco plants, and there is a great decrease in the yield of tobacco products. There is a great decrease in the yield of tobacco when this nematode meloidigan incognita is infecting on the roots. So a nematode resistant tobacco crops are developed by using this genetic engineering process. By using genetic engineering, nematode resistant tobacco crops are also developed, which are called as pest resistant. Okay, by which process? RNA interference process. See now what is RNA interference. This RNA I stands for RNA interference, which is also called RNA induced silencing of genes. RNA induced gene silencing or RNA interference is a process which takes place in all eukaryote cells. In all eukaryotes, this RNA interference process is taking place as a part of cellular defense mechanism to protect cells from pathogens or something. As a part of cellular defense, this RNA interference process is taking place in all organisms, all eukaryotic organisms. And this RNA interference was first discovered. It was first discovered in another nematode, which is Caenorhabditis elegans. RNA interference process was first observed or discovered in another nematode called Caenorhabditis elegans. Okay, see the process, how RNA interference is responsible to silence the genes. Gene silencing is carried by RNA. Okay, see here, there is a formation of some double-stranded RNAs, right? This RNA interference is carried by double-stranded RNAs. These double-stranded RNAs include two types. These double-stranded RNAs are made from transposons or double-stranded viral RNA. Some viral cells have double-stranded RNA as their genetic material. And in some other eukaryotic organism, there is a presence of transposons or transposable elements, which are also called jumping genes. That jumping genes are responsible to produce double-stranded RNAs. These double-stranded RNAs include two types, which are microRNA and small interfering RNA. miRNA, which stands for microRNA, siRNA is there, which stands for small interfering RNA. These two types of RNA molecules are mediating the RNA process. Here, miRNA and siRNA both are same in function. In property and function, they are same, but here, miRNA is also a double-stranded DNA, which forms from a gene directly. A gene, which gene? Like a transposon. There are some genes like a transposon, that the transposons will directly express a double-stranded RNA molecule, which is microRNA. Okay, siRNA is there, which is a small interfering RNA molecule, which forms from double-stranded RNA by splicing. When double-stranded DNA is cut by splicing in presence of a dicer protein. Dicer. A double-stranded RNA molecule is long, double-stranded RNA will be there. That double-stranded RNA, when it is cut with an enzyme, like a splicing enzyme. So when it is cut with that enzyme, there is formation of small pieces of this siRNA. So dicer protein will cut the double-stranded RNA and forms. That's what I told you. Double-stranded RNA is cut with dicer protein and forms this siRNA. Okay. So both siRNA and miRNA are involving in this RNA interference. You copy these points, then I will continue. RNA inducing gene silencing. I wrote G. RNA induced gene silencing. Now enough, I will off for some time only. Why? Because if you open the window, screen will be glary. What, Mrunalini? Not visible. Mrunalini. Amruta is there, Ogya is there, Aishwarya is there. Segregated. Very good. Nice effort. By? Yeah. Shabash, shabash. Right? Complete? Any more spaces? No spaces. You start starting. I segregated them, she joined with you. Okay? Right. See now how that siRNA and miRNA will give RNA interference process and pest resistance in the crops. So a transposon DNA is there. Suppose a transposon DNA. That a transposon DNA is also called what? Mobile genes or jumping genes, transposable genes. That transposons, when it undergoes expression, transcription, it forms double-stranded RNA. Yeah, dsRNA is made. This double-stranded RNA, when it is cut with dicer protein, dicer. So there is formation of small RNA, double-stranded RNA molecules like siRNA. Okay. So small interfering RNA molecules are formed. In this siRNA, there are two strands. One strand is called passenger strand. Yes. One strand is called passenger strand. This passenger strand will separate and it undergo degradation. That is cut with some nuclease enzymes and it is finally degraded. That means the nucleotides are removed. Whereas this guiding strand is there, na? That guiding strand remains. What is this? Guiding or guide strand. Passenger guide. Okay. This guide strand, then it combines with another protein molecule which is RISC. RNA induced silencing complex. RNA induced silencing complex. RNA induced silencing complex will combine with the guide strand, and that guide strand along with RNA induced silencing complex, RISC plus guide complex is formed. Right? This is what we are doing. This RISC plus guide strand, when an RNA molecule comes, otherwise we write here, when an RNA molecule is there, like here, that step I will write, binding with nematode RNA. This guide strand along with RISC, that RISC is a protein which is agronaut protein, that will combine with the nematode RNA and it degrades nematode mRNA. It degrades nematode mRNA. This is the process. Listen once, then you can copy. Listen once. See here, a transposon gene is there. That transposon gene is undergoing expression. That means the first step of expression is what? Transcription. By transcription, it produces one double-stranded RNA molecule. That double-stranded RNA molecule is cut with dicer protein and forming siRNA. Otherwise, directly miRNA means which is directly formed from the gene on expression. Without dicer protein, miRNA is directly formed. That has both miRNA and siRNA. They are smaller molecules. I mean, small molecules around 20 or 25 nucleotides are present in that. 20 to 25 nucleotides the distance is there. They are double-stranded structure. So they have two strands. One strand is passenger strand, another strand is guide strand. Passenger strand separates from the guide strand and passenger strand is degraded. And the guide strand is there. Guide strand combines with another protein which is RISC protein. This RISC protein is a type of agronaut protein. Agronaut protein, that RISC complex binds with guide strand. RISC plus guide strand is complexing. This RISC plus guide strand, when it is combining with nematode mRNA, this RISC and nematode mRNA, they are combined with the nematode mRNA means that nematode mRNA will be cut, broken down. Nematode mRNA is cut means next step of gene expression of nematode gene. What is the next step? Translation will not take place. Translation not taken place means no proteins are made in the nematode body. No proteins are made means there is no reproduction of the nematode, and that nematode will survive until the complete usage of the existing protein. Once the proteins are completely over means then nematode will also die. So that plant will get resistance. What we are doing in entire process is we are taking a transposon which is responsible for the nematode. Transposon we should collect. Why? Because that guide strand is combined with a particular mRNA, right? So the segment of guide strand should be complementary to the nematode mRNA. So that complementary transposon is taken. That transposon gene is there now. That transposon is introduced into TI plasmid. That TI plasmid is introduced into plants through Agrobacterium tumefaciens mediated gene transfer. Now the plant has a transposon plus a TA plasmid. As the transposon is present in the plant body because we introduced the transposon into plants. That the transposon is taken from normal double-stranded transposon or double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA from the viruses. Double-stranded RNA from the viruses or a transposon that can be introduced into TA plasmid and transferred into plant. Plant has this structure now. So in plant, all this process will take place up to here. Yes or no? We introduce transposon into plants. In plant, transposon will express into double-stranded RNA and they form miRNA or siRNA. That miRNA or siRNA are dividing and that guide strand is combined with RISC complex and forming this in plant body because the plant body has a transposon. Now, whenever nematode takes that plant body as a food or whenever nematode infects the plant, nematode genes are undergoing expression. There is formation of mRNA for the nematode. At the same time, these transposons already expressed and guide strand RISC complex is produced in plant body. So that is interacting with the nematode mRNA because the nematode taken plant material as a food. So this complex from the plant enters the nematode body and it blocks mRNA of the nematode and mRNA is not expressed into protein. So nematode will die. So plant will get resistance against nematode. So that is the development of pest resistance in the crops like tobacco. Now copy that. RISC along with guide strand. Why it is important means RISC guide strand both have importance. RISC guide strand both are forming complex. This complex has to bind with mRNA. That binding is mediated by the complementary nature between mRNA and guide strand. Guide strand will bind to mRNA because both are complementary. So that is responsible for binding this with this mRNA of the nematode. So this binding is favored by guide strand. Now RISC complex will break that mRNA. RISC complex cannot break directly. RISC complex has to bind with mRNA. That binding is facilitated by the complementary nature between guide strand and mRNA of the nematode. Okay? Right. Complete. Are you micro artist? Macro artist? Not at all artist. No, you have many arts. What is the difference between passenger and guide strand? Here orientation only. One has a 5' to 3', another one has a 3' to 5' like that. mRNA is in 5' to 3'. That means guide strand has a 3' to 5'. 3' to 5' means guide strand. 5' to 3' means a passenger strand. That's all. There is no difference at all. mRNA is in 5' to 3'. So guide strand is in 3' to 5'. So guide strand is in 3' to 5' means passenger strand will be in 5' to 3' direction. Next we will see. Next topic. Understand? RNA interference complex formation and development of pest resistant, it is quite a confusing topic. Yes or no? It is quite a confusing topic. So better copy everything whatever you have terms, okay, then only you can understand well. This is readily available in the plant. Whenever this nematode takes that plant material, that will interact with the mRNA of the nematode and block the mRNA. So mRNA is not allowed for translation. So this process is called RNA induced silencing of the expression. That's why it is called as RNA induced silencing of genes or gene silencing. Okay, can I erase? Right. Next, third application of biotechnology in agriculture, decreasing or reducing post-harvest loss. Reducing post-harvest loss. What is post-harvest loss? After harvesting, the food may get damaged, like fruits. Fruits may get damaged after the harvesting from the crop. That we can be reduced or decreased by biotechnology. Very good example for this is flower saver tomato, which is written like this, but you have to pronunciate flavor saver, which saves flavor for long duration. What is the reason for this? Tomato ripening. Yeah. Here, if we take normal tomato, when it is green, that tomato shell is there, right? That shell is made up of pectin. Cell wall is there, na? Polygalactronic acid or polygalactoses. Huh? Galactronase is an enzyme which acid is the substance present in that. Polygalactronase will break that substance, which is pectin, or which is a type of polygalactoses. Sorry, polygalactronic acid actually. Polygalactronic acid is present in the pectin, which is a galactose polymer pectin. So this tomato shell is made up of this. When there is activity of pectinase enzyme, which is polygalacturonase. When polygalactronase enzyme is acting on this pectin, pectin is broken down into galactose. This, when pectin is present, this is hard. But when this pectin was converted into galactose on the activity of polygalactronase enzyme, pectin is degraded into galactose, then tomato shell will become soft or smooth. This is what we can say as what green color tomato. This is red color tomato, which is ripened, which is in red color, green, which is raw tomato. Okay, what is green, raw? Unripened. This is ripened tomato, which is in red color. Why ripened tomato is in red color means after harvesting or after complete growth or complete maturation of the tomato fruits, There is breakage of the pectins present in the shell of tomato by the polygalactonase. Not only after harvesting. If tomato is not harvested, then also the shell is degrading into this galactose. Then, I mean, tomato will become ripened and it will become smooth. But ripening is delayed. Ripening is delayed by using a technique called antisense technology. By using antisense or antisense mRNA technology or antisense technology, we can write by using antisense mRNAs, by genetic engineering, we can develop antisense mRNA molecules, and that ripening is delayed. Ripening is delayed. What we are doing here? Polygalactonase encoding gene is there, right? Polygalacturonase gene expression is silenced by producing an antisense mRNA. Antisense mRNA is produced. That antisense mRNA will silence the expression of polygalactonase gene. Just copy that. Within 1 minute, we'll see that. Okay, see now how we are doing this antisense mRNA production, and in antisense technology, how we are delaying the ripening of tomato. Suppose if you take an example of this gene, suppose beta galactonase gene is there, na? Sorry, beta galactoside is there, lactose operana and going. Polygalacturonase, this gene is there. That gene has a DNA molecule. That DNA molecules have two strands, you know. Which strand acts as template? In the direction of RNA synthesis, the DNA strand with 3' to 5' polarity will act as template. This is a template. Template is also called antisense DNA or antisense strand. So, template undergoes transcription. So, transcription of template. Template means which strand here? Antisense. Antisense is undergoing transcription, means there is a production of an mRNA with 5' to 3' polarity. So template is undergoing expression, means there is formulation of mRNA which has the same as 5' to 3', which is coding strand. Template strand is undergoing expression, it will produce a complementary mRNA that has a similar sequence with coding sequence, coding DNA, but coding DNA has a thymines, but here uracils are present. This is a normal expression. If it is undergoing expression, I mean next translation, there is a synthesis of polygalacturonase. This is a normal process. But in antisense technology, this polygalacturonase enzyme gene is there, na? That is reversely placed and coding sequence or coding gene is expressed. See, what is that? coding gene is there, which is a coding strand is there, right? Coding strand actually has 5 prime to 3 prime. Template strand has 3 prime to 5 prime. But to express that coding strand, we have to change the polarity. Coding strand is reversely placed. 3 prime to 5 prime it was placed, and 5 prime to 3 prime template. Now this coding strand will undergo expression. Coding strand is also called sense DNA strand. So this is template, but this is not template for the transcription. This is original template, but this has 5 prime to 3 prime means for this process this is not a template. Yes or no? Now coding strand acts as a template. So transcription of coding strand is reversely expressed. When coding strand expresses, what happens? Another, it has 3 prime to 5 prime. So another 5 prime to 3 prime mRNA will made. Sorry. Correct only, yeah. So this forms sense DNA is undergone expression, right? As sense DNA gone expression, there is a formation of antisense mRNA. This antisense mRNA is similar to this template. Here, antisense DNA is undergoing transcription and forming sense mRNA. Normal process. But in antisense process, instead of antisense DNA, sense DNA is expressed. When sense DNA is expressed, there is formation of antisense mRNA. This antisense mRNA and sense mRNA are complementary. Yes or no? Here this is expressed, here that is expressed, both are complementary. Both are complementary means sense mRNA, antisense mRNA, both will combine. Sense, antisense mRNAs, both will combine, and there is no translation. No translation takes place. No translation means there is no protein synthesis, there is no formation of the protein. Which protein? Polygalactonase. Polygalactonase enzyme is not produced. Enzyme is not available. It will not break pectins of the tomato shell. Pectin is not broken down means it will not convert. Pectin is not broken down means there is no ripening of the tomato shell, so that the tomato will be fresh for a long time. Delayed. It is not fully stopped. Not fully stopped, but that ripening will be delayed. Not only this property, not only polygalactonase property for the activity, there may be some other properties like a temperature effect or something are there for the ripening. So this effect is blocked here. So some other effects are taking place for the ripening, that will take slow time. Okay. This is delayed ripening, which is example for preserving food for a long time, which is reduction or reducing the post-harvest loss. An example is flavor saver tomato, which saves flavor for a long time. Okay, note on this. Yeah, that's all today class. Thank you.